Hey guys, it's Viewmasters Reactions, and we're back with Mighty Nein time for episode 115, Fetching Fables and Frosty Friends. What a frickin' tongue twister that is. We just got done with the Patreon Hour exclusive. We had a lot going on. There was a column sticking out of the ground. There was an emerald embedded in it like 4 feet under the ice. We dug up the ice. We attempted to get this thing 3 times, and every time a gigantic blast would come out of the column and destroyed us. It was 52 damage the first round. Then the second round, we were smart enough to back up a little more. Honestly, I don't blame them for getting hit the first time. We backed up 50 feet. I thought that was probably too much. I honestly was thinking, why back up 50 feet? What could possibly... I mean, obviously things could happen, but I thought 50 feet was enough. Well, a 60-foot radius blasted us. If you rolled high enough, you only took 26 damage. 52 damage was given to 4 or 5 of our party members. And the second round, Caleb had to sustain damage, but rolled high enough to only take half that time. Then he tried a third time with the cat's ire to rip it out of the column, and that didn't work either. Then a fourth time, he tried to dispel it at a level 6, and that didn't work. We tried 4 times. I was thinking 3. There were 4 shots at it. We took a good half of the episode, I want to say, doing it. The first half, we were freezing to death. There was some sort of scrying orb flying around. But either way, the way we ended it was we built the tower, Caleb's magical Wonka tower. We're going to go sleep in it because if we sit outside like we did the last time, we're going to sustain points of exhaustion. Veth is the only one that got one on the first round, the first day, but it's day 2. Dagon is with us, and he is like, this is awesome. So what we did was we're trying to make sure everything's okay. That's where I ended it. We formed the door. We sent in Frumpkin. Frumpkin came back out. Doesn't seem to be an issue yet. I don't know if there's gonna be, but right now, Frumpkin did come out. We closed Frumpkin in. Frumpkin came out. That is literally right where I ended it. I don't know what's about to happen. It didn't seem like anything too crazy was about to happen, but we're only going to do 15 minutes. There's 30 minutes from now to the break. We're going to add the other 15 to the live stream because the live stream is only an hour and a half. And I want to have a good, solid live stream. And I try to get to as close as 2 hours as we can. And I figured cutting this in half. There's 30 minutes. We'll do 15 here, 15 there. You guys want to see more of what I do? In the description of every video is a link for Patreon. You'll see the Patreon Hour exclusive for every episode of Campaign 2. Just finished up with Shogun and Chucky Season 3. X-Men 97 is done in 2 weeks. Delicious in Dungeon is ending very soon after that. We also have Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Person of Interest, Jackie Chan movies every month. If you want your own requested show or movie, there is a tier level in Patreon where you could do so. Just ask me, and I will watch it. In the description, full unedited everything. If not, Campaign 2. Episode 115, Mighty Nein time.
I'll summon the sword and I'll cast See Invisibility and do a 360 and just see if we're being watched.
You're right.
Okay.
As this is being summoned.
The doorway gives it like a kind of a stronger glow, just kind of in the proximity of it. It's almost like changing the filter with a candle nearby. All of a sudden it gets brighter. But looking around you, nothing else catches your attention.
No spheres.
No spheres, no.
No spheres.
We seem to be unwatched for the moment.
All right, well, Dagon, join us for dinner.
Sure.
Is Dagon okay coming in here?
Start leading
Dagon,
the way in.
after the shit we put him
As you guys
through
make
already?
way in, Dagon, and like with a little bit of apprehension,
don't
passes
blame him.
through, and as soon as it gets inside, goes, "Are you fucking kidding me?
Dagon has gotten blown up.
Why the fuck did we sleep
Day
in the
one with
ice
us.
last night?"
Yeah.
This is not every night. This
Learning, we were
just in case.
learning.
My
Flavor
favorite
nice or
music.
cross?
How did?
Think up.
Where are the stairs?
Just think up.
Think up. Up.
Whoa. it's a glide. Him in the chair lifting without issue.
You
Like,
think
well,
Dagon...
just don't need that feature
I mean,
for now. And he
I feel like
kinda
people
sets one of the little,
like him would have
kind of
experienced all sorts of
glowing
things like
orb-looking
this,
panels
but I
on the
mean,
side of the
clearly
chair.
not.
And he starts just continuing to float up with you. Oh, this is all kinds of wow.
We have a
What's for dinner?
guest rooms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is for dinner?
What would you like, Caduceus? Your call.
A bit of everything.
A bit
I
of
think-
everything.
Ooh, mac and cheese.
Ooh, that
Yeah.
sounds good.
Doesn't really.
Mac
I
and
was
cheese.
thinking
We could have
chili.
whatever we
Doesn't
want.
it sound like that would be good on like a snowy?
We could do
Yeah.
both together. I think that's
Cold,
what we were
snowy
doing.
day, mac and cheese and chili. Have some like Chili Mac?
So
I feel like
ready
they go
for
together
this
very
meal.
well. Chili Mac.
I hover in the salon, the library chamber with all of us, and I fall out of the central column and walk over and pull a rope pull by the main fireplace here with the stained glass in the motif of Molly's coat. And a cat comes out of a little arch next to it, and I say, Rudy, good. We are going to have mac and cheese and then lots of vegetables and quinoa. As much quinoa as we have at the moment.
And chili.
And chili, vegetarian chili tonight, though.
Well, also some pancakes. Yeah.
Only
Some
seems fair to get
waffles
some
are
Yeah.
really Waffles sound good too.
Yeah,
Cornbread
but everyone else
waffles.
will like-
Cornbread waffles are really
Cornbread
dipped in the chili.
waffles. Cornbread waffles.
And also waffle cornbread.
Does such a thing exist
Why not?
in real life? I want
Waffle
that.
Cats
cornbread.
can't make it. I mean, who can?
Waffle
I
corn.
want it.
I
Sounds good,
want.
doesn't it?
Also,
So good.
one
I'm
plate
sure it
of,
exists. I feel like everything
bacon.
somewhere exists
real bacon
in real life.
for our guest.
Turns around with a slight begrudging, like, okay.
Yeah, Dagon gave us
Type of
wolf
a
bacon
field beneath
in the
mail.
Patreon hour.
But the meal is
now
now
he
under
gets
preparation.
a freaking
You can see
five-star
Dagon is kind of like just
service
jetting
from
around
cats.
and just inspecting the interior of the tower. He's like, then you weren't joking. You are some assembly folk, or at least capable, though aren't usually much for sharing. Kind of glides back down.
Well, we're independent contractors, so
Well, I don't mind staying along with contractors that provide a better place to sleep, I'll tell you that.
I'm looking forward to the meal.
Come, let
See,
me
this
show
should
you
be
your
a
room.
selling point.
Yeah, please.
I will start to
Before,
hover up
when we
to
negotiated,
the
we
first
should have
of
said,
the
"Dude,
guest floors where
we'll pay you
Caduceus
half,
and Yasha's
but you get
room are, but
first
there's
rate
a third
accommodations."
room there. And when we go in, it is stained glass with wolves over the fireplace and bacon strips along the bottom. And all the same accoutrement that are in the other rooms. And then his central room has got axes all on the wall and a massive wet bar with every kind of whiskey and bourbon imaginable, and a couple of jugs that just have XXX on them. And a fairly traditional and basic bedroom.
Kind of glides in and goes, a little kitschy, but I like it. All right, this'll do. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
That tub is scalding hot when you first get in, so easy does it.
Fair enough.
All right, well, let's say dinner in about 30 minutes.
All right,
Off a bit.
awesome. Dry off a bit, rest up.
Eventually, food is prepared. A fantastic spread of cat design to the specifications you required, meals that are familiar to you, and a handful that are new to anybody, as they've been created in the request stage. But nevertheless, a fine dinner spread is enjoyed by all. Some laughter and imbibement, and eventually the evening comes to a close. Is there anything you'd like to accomplish before the night comes to a close? And we'll go to
I
the next
honestly
one.
thought there
Actually,
might
I'd
be
like
an
to find,
issue.
Dagon,
But
and just say
things are
it's,
going off
it's
without a
fair
hitch.
to keep you abreast of two individuals that we are keeping an eye out for. For any reason, if you should become separated for us, we are keeping a lookout for this fellow, and I'll make myself look like Molly.
Gotcha.
And this, and I'll make myself look like Cree. These two seem to be on the trail for the same sort of items, things that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Be wary.
It's a good idea.
All right, I'll keep an eye out.
It's a good
Appreciate
idea.
the heads up.
Just in case we
haven't
do get
seen
separated,
them
and
at
then
any
they're
time,
like,
have you?
"We'll help you."
I haven't known.
Fair enough.
Inside joke.
Inside check. Do I believe it?
Make an insight check.
I feel like he's telling the truth. I feel like he's
Yeah, better.
on the level. Natural one. Doesn't matter.
I mean, he's a little tipsy. Seems to be forthcoming.
Good.
Best you can tell.
Good chap.
Good chap.
Good.
Music kicked in heavy.
Anybody else? We good?
I'll, a hot bath sounds really nice. So after dinner, go back to my room, run a hot bath, talk to one of the cats, request some hot cocoa.
Hot cocoa.
Maybe some, like, chocolate dipped strawberries? You know, in a Chardonnay. Thank you.
Darts into the wall.
As the tub is filling up, reach in my pocket,
Pocket
pull out
bacon.
the poem from you.
Oh, right.
Yasha's poem from the live stream. Yasha wrote a poem.
Stare at it for a moment.
Oh, Bo. Well,
Whoa.
Put it down. I stare at it for a little bit longer. Wait for my Chardonnay to show up. Chug my Chardonnay. Pick it up again. Open it. And I read the poem.
Is Yasha gonna read it? All right, Yasha's gonna read it.
so,
My brain swirls as I hear Yasha's voiceover in my head.
So it's at the top of it, it's a whole paragraph that is crossed out and scraped. And you see some words like bow and abs, and shorn, and envelop, and things like that. And it's just crossed out. And underneath it, bow. Yeah, this was a poem, but then I realized it was a
Kit Kat?
dumb poem, and I can't write poetry. Sometimes I have an easier time when I put the pen to parchment, so here it goes. I've watched you. I don't mean that in a creepy way. I mean, I am a little bit of a creep, but I know that you know this by now. It takes me a minute to open up. So I watch, I observe, I take it all in as opposed to letting it all out. I guess the only time I let it all out is when I fight, which I'm not sure is the healthiest thing in the world. But here's some things that I've noticed about you. You're strong. You're a leader. You're really smart. You're really funny. You're honest, even if it hurts. But the thing that really gets me about you is that you love so fiercely. And I know you feel like an asshole most days, but I kind of like that you're an asshole. You stick up for the people you love, and you make me feel stronger. I can hold my own. I know that you know that. But you make me feel safe. I don't even know if that makes sense. But I know no matter what, you'll have my back, no questions asked. Yasha.
Is that a poem? I feel like that's more like a letter. I'm not trying to criticize it. It was very beautiful. But I feel like
Go fuck off.
I don't get the poemness of it.
Use the cocoa
No,
behind
meanness intended. It was beautiful.
Wipe away a few tears as I see them hit the paper.
I mean, a poem could be anything, I guess.
And I
I'm just used to something that
sink
rhymes.
into the tub
or
till I'm
I don't know.
underneath. And I just stay there until I think I can't hold my breath any longer, and then I stay like 20 seconds longer. And then I come up. And I do that back and forth for a little bit until I eventually fall asleep.
I honestly thought it was going to be much
Not in the
more
tub, you know.
graphic. She dies in the tub. Bo dies in the tub.
Entire campaign.
I thought it was going to be more graphically sexual
Not like
or
a Jim
more
Morrison way, no.
like romantical. It was basically just something you'd write to somebody that you
wait,
really
one
care
thing.
about.
Can I float up and knock on Caleb's door?
Sure.
Yeah.
Could you cast tongues on me? I mean, you know, the spell where you can make me understand languages or whatever.
Yeah, I could do that.
I just want to read the book, Caleb.
You want to read it yourself?
The Zemnian books.
I mean,
Read it to you if you want.
I was going to say, right? Didn't I say that Kayla would read it to her?
It could take a while.
Well, are we talking about Princeton Cat?
The other cute cat with the hat.
The cat with the hat. Yeah, Prince and the cat. The cat with the top hat.
So I walk us in and sit us down by my fireplace, which has no stained glass window. The furniture in here is pretty nondescript.
This is a boring room, Caleb. You really decked everyone else out.
Well, it took a lot of effort for you all, so no time for me.
Oh,
Okay, so
no time for me.
this is meant for children.
Okay.
My mother read it to me when I was very little. It's called the Cat Prince.
The Cat Prince. Okay.
Once upon a time, in a little house on the edge of a great wide wood, lived a young boy with his mother. The poor boy was sick and spent much of his days in bed, watching the days pass by from a little window in his room. The boy's mother loved him very much, but as it was just the two of them, and the boy was ill of health and frail of form, every day she had to make the journey to town where she worked in the kitchens of the local lord. While she was gone, the boy would mind the house, read one of their precious few books, and observe the bees and the trees. Oh, that rhymes when I translate it. And the birds in their flight as he spent the greater part of his time resting in bed. The boy knew that his mother loved him and that her time away was all for his sake, and he was grateful to her and loved her in return. But it was a lonely life, spending his days rereading some of the same books or talking to the air in their little home on the wood's edge. One day, and this is all illustrated as we go through.
I hope you're showing me the pictures.
Yeah, I'm going page by page. We're sitting on the couch together. As the boy sat in bed looking out at the fields that lay between his home and the woods, he noticed a cat making its way out of the forest. It's been a long time since I read this. It was not long before the boy realized this cat clearly making
There's
its
probably a
way
lot
toward his home was
of
no ordinary
similarities
cat,
between him
for upon his head
and
he wore
having
a little
Frumpkin.
top hat.
Childhood, maybe.
And if that were not strange enough on its own, as the cat pattered up beneath the boy's window, he stood, doffed his cap, took a bow, and said, "Greetings, young master. You look as if you could use a bit of dancing." The boy, stunned by these words from the dapper little cat, could scarcely find his voice. "Oh, no, sir," said the boy. "I don't know how to dance, nor am I made for it." "Nonsense," said the cat. "Why, anyone can dance if only they look to. Come out of doors and let me show you." And as he spoke, the cat donned his hat and began to turn in circles and dance. And he's dancing on the page. The boy was curious, but said, "Good Sir Cat, I am afraid I am ill. My lungs are too weak and my bones are too frail." "Oh, maybe they are and maybe they aren't," the cat replied. "But either way, you do not want to languish one more day in bed watching the world go by, do you? Come, take a walk with me through the fields, and I will show you how to dance." Overcoming his doubts, the boy managed to climb down from his window and walk a few steps closer. This was no ordinary cat and no ordinary day. And though he felt unsure, his heart did leap a little, and he began to follow the marvelous little cat through the grass, slowly at first, but with more vigor as they crossed the fields. And eventually, he found himself stepping under the shade of the woods for the first time in a great many years. All the while, the cat frolicked
We're
and
going
capered
deeper
as they
in than I
wound their way
wanted,
deeper
but
into the wood, and
I wanna hear the
eventually
rest
the
of
boy
the hat.
found himself
Sorry, the
stepping
cat,
into a
Prince
ring
Cat.
of trees. The cat whirling about, his hat in hand, the furry little dancer twirled around the boy, laughing and calling while the boy watched, his mouth agape. And then, quick as a flash, the cat brought his top hat down right atop the boy's head, who was very suddenly plunged into darkness.
Is this going to be a sad story, Caleb?
Then I turned the page. But only a moment, because all about him, shining in the dark, he saw the glow of hundreds of eyes. Feline eyes glimmering in the dark. Suddenly, about him, lanterns flared to life, and the boy saw he was no longer in a wood at all. Here, he saw a grand ballroom festively decorated and filled to the brim with cats. Big cats, small ones, old cats, young ones, cats of every breed and color, and in the center of the great hall, upon a stage, stood the boy's feline guide. Only now he was dressed in very fine robes, and upon his head sat a thin golden crown of wrought golden leaves.
He's a prince.
Which is illustrated right there. Beautiful little cat. well-worn pages. The boy stood in wonder and amazement as the great host of cats bowed to their prince and then, in turn, bowed to him. "The world of men is heavy and hard," the princely cat proclaimed. "But here across the vale we move with lighter step. Dance with us, child, and forget your troubles for a spell." All at once, scores of cats closed in around the boy, purring and turning about his legs as thick as the sea. And as they moved, so too did the boy's feet. He swirled amongst them like a cork on the water, and before he knew it, the boy was dancing. Dancing and dancing as he never imagined he could. And his breath, much to his surprise, was hearty and hale. He found he no longer felt ill in the least. Hours passed, and he and all the cats danced without end, and the Prince of Cats more than all of them. After a long while, the boy suddenly remembered his mother, and immediately feared she would worry. He stopped in the middle of the great hall and called out to the Prince of Cats, "Forgive me, Sir Cat, but I can no longer stay. My mother will worry. I have to return." All the cats parted before him, and the prince approached the boy. "Are you sure, boy? You could stay and dance with us for as long as you wish, forever and ever and ever." "I cannot," the boy replied. "My mother has only me, and I would not leave her alone. Forgive me." The Prince of Cats looked on the boy with a sympathetic eye. "Not at all, young one. Fear not a whit. You do your mother credit." And with that, the Prince of Cats stepped closer. "Do not look so crestfallen. Take our cat's grace with you. You can always dance if the will is there." And from
Music
behind
is
his
great,
back, he
too.
brought out his top hat again and pulled it over the boy's eyes, and once again, all was dark. Sometime later, the boy stirred, and his eyes fluttered open. He looked about and discovered he had been asleep in the wood, and the sun now dappled his face through the trees. Next, he noticed a threadbare, patched top hat lying in the soft grass beside him. He gingerly picked it up and stood within the same circle of trees. As he did so, he took a deep breath and smelled the earth and the forest. And as he did, he realized his breath was strong and his legs hardy. "Danke," he said, as he looked down at the hat in his hands. And placing it upon his head, he smiled, kicked up his heels, and quietly started to dance his way all the way back home. The end.
All right, everybody, that is it for the YouTube video. I said I was only going to do 15 minutes. We did about 20 minutes, which isn't too crazy. There'll still be 10 or 11 minutes left for the live stream to add to. We'll have about an hour and 45 minutes. But I honestly, it was too early to not start the story, and I don't want to stop in the middle of a story. Caleb was reading it so well, and I imagined it was going to be a happy ending. Jester got a little worried. I will admit, I myself, when things got dark, I was like, oh crap, is this going to get dark? Like, I imagined the end would still be pleasant. I was thinking, did this top hat-wearing cat just trick us into some sort of shenanigans? But it was this wonderful world of dancing cats and the Prince of Cats, and they're like, you could dance with us forever if you want, but if the will is there, you will get better. Is it one of those type of things where it's magical, or is it one of those things where he just wasn't getting out of bed and he was strong enough the whole time and all he had to do was push himself to get better? I feel like there's a lot of magic and silliness involved too, which is great. I mean, the story was wonderful. Like I said, Caleb read it beautifully. I like too that she did want to learn. I said back when we saw this that either she should want to learn Zemnian, which is what she was basically saying. I don't know if she's going to learn it so much as just be casted a spell to learn how to read it. But I love that Caleb read it to us. I figured there was something going to be going on with the storybooks based on the fact it was very specific, especially in her room. That was beautiful. We get this nice little lovely tale about this little boy. And I feel like there's a little magic and a little bit of real life things in there where sometimes you just got to get out and have the will to get better. But I mean, you know, that doesn't always work if you're truly like ill and stuff. I mean, there's some things you just can't beat through sheer will. But it was a glorious story. We got to see the entire Willy Wonka. I call it the Willy Wonka Tower of Caleb, but you guys know what it is. We got cats everywhere. Dagon got to experience it. And we'll have another probably 10, 11. I think we got like 11 or 12 minutes left to add to the live stream. So you guys want to see more of what I do, in the description of every video is a link for Patreon. You'll see the Patreon hour exclusive for every episode of Campaign 2. The live stream is on Friday. You want your own reaction of a show or movie, there is a link in the description below for Patreon where you can request to do so. That's how we get things like Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Person of Interest, My Hero Academia, Toriko, and Bleach. We just finished Shogun, Chucky Season 3, X-Men 97, and Delicious in Dungeon are ending very soon. Jackie Chan movies every month, Winona Earp and The Shield just started over on Patreon too. Thousands of movies and shows, full unedited. Check it out. In the description is the link. If not, comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.